I hope everybody is having a great week. For this week's video, the first prompt is looking at effect size and what are my thoughts on effect size, and have you ever heard of effect size? And no, I haven't. I don't think I've ever heard of effect size or really even thought about it. It makes sense, the idea of looking at how your lesson impacts your learners and whether it's going to, make sense or speak to the learners in your classroom. I would like to know more. It's really quite interesting, looking at impact and how do you measure that? Well, in a classroom environment, you can measure it using assessments or, written test, online test, writing a paper, an art project. There's so many different ways you can measure that. But how do you measure that without those assessments, or in a different setting? Or, for example, our next presentation projects are on the professional development days, and prepping a breakout session. How do you measure the effect size in that breakout session? Would you just not know, or would you have them complete a survey at the end? That's kind of what my thoughts. I've got lots of questions. I'm excited to learn more and really dive deep into what effect size looks like. The next kind of prompt is share something that I've always struggled with in school. Well, for this one, I thought of two things. One is reading an analog clock. To this day, I have to kind of sit and think about reading a clock. That was something that I struggled with, way back in elementary school. And, I remember it as something that I struggle with. And, yeah, it doesn't take me too long, but, you look at a digital clock and boom, I know immediately what it is. But looking at an analog clock, it takes me a minute. I have to, actually think about it. And the other thing was, it sounds silly, but comprehending informational texts was always really hard for me. Those little comprehension tests that they'd give you, as late as middle school or even high school, the really informative, that is more tricky for me. And so having to slow down and actually looking and understanding what you're reading. And so I think that's something that I think about a lot more, especially at the elementary school I'm working with. I've been reading with first graders and thinking about, well, how do you get them thinking about what they're reading? Will you ask questions about it? Thinking about the podcast, have them make connections to their lives. And that's how you get them kind of thinking about, well, we're reading about, for example, they were reading about different types of homes. Well, have you ever seen this type of home? Did you take a trip, or have you only seen it in TV? What TV did you watch? And making those little connections and really connecting with the text and enjoying, helping them enjoy reading. That is it. I hope everybody has a great week. See ya.